We want to welcome everybody in and thank you for joining this conversation today. We think it's very important for the community of Amarillo. They can get a chance to hear you guys' views, of what you think. And kind of the format today we decided is, rather than like you guys going on, maybe interviewed on a television, local television, 20, 30-second bite after you've talked 3 or 4 minutes and had some good stuff to say, they cut it, they choose it, and it's really, you said it, but you didn't get the whole gist of it. And that's kind of what we wanted, we're inviting you in here today. And Alex and I also want you to know we applaud your courage. And that's the word we want to use, is courage, to put your name out there, trying to win a public office. So,
y'all doing something I wasn't willing to do.
Yeah, exactly. Alex decided not to run for mayor, but your valuable time. Everybody's time is valuable, and you'll be serving the community. So we're very proud of you guys for doing that. And let's introduce our place 3 candidates right now. And we've got Tom Scherlen. Tom, how are you today?
Very good. Thank you, Lance.
We appreciate
y'all for having us.
Yeah, no worries at all. And then we got John Adair. John, how goes it?
Good.
Yeah. And then Katt Massey. Katt?
Hello. Thank you for having us today.
We are very, very happy you guys are all in here. So let's get it started,
I have
Alex.
a question for Katt.
Yeah, go right ahead.
Your glasses perfectly match your outfit. Do you have like different color glasses? Or is that the
No,
only
I
one?
just wear black.
I'm joking
Just
a little
mainly
bit.
black.
Go ahead.
Got a
sorry.
little red.
No.
That wasn't on the list. Go ahead.
No.
Go ahead, Lance.
I think Gayle King on CBS does it like 200 times. So yeah. Hey, instead of asking you all about you to start off, we'd like to ask you, describe the voter who would be most inclined to vote for you. Okay, Katt, let's start off with you.
I think a voter who is wanting change and wanting transparency and wanting to be communicated with by the people who are running their city. That's the kind of voter I'm after, and that's what I want to do, is bring transparency.
John?
About the same. The middle class voter, taxpayer, people that have lived here most of their lives in Amarillo.
Yeah, and Tom?
I think the voter I would probably reach the best are the voters that are against government overreach, the voter that wants physical responsibility taken back by the citizens, the voter that probably is looking for a representative type government, a voter that would actually goes back one vote, one voice, and let the voters decide.
Fair
Could
enough.
I hijack that question?
Yeah.
So, Katt, you talk about transparency and communication. Do you kind of feel like that's been missing?
I do.
We kind of had this theme a little yesterday.
Yeah, we
I do.
did big time.
Absolutely feel like it's been missing.
And you said change. So I won't ask you to expound, but anyone else expound on that? We kind of heard this every interview yesterday.
Yeah, where's that coming from? You feel that's the vibe in Amarillo right now?
I really do. I feel like I know I can call down to the city council. You don't get a response. I think of all the emails I have sent, I've had one response from one commissioner or councilman, and that's all. The people need representation. They want representation. They don't want government talking down to them. They want to talk equally to the government.
No, go ahead, John.
I agree with that. I think transparency's been lacking. I've heard a lot of people that have had, just simple issues with the city. You get shuffled around to 10 or 15 different people before anyone actually gets to listen to, what your complaint might be.
Yeah.
And it's been an issue.
All right. Go ahead. Anything else from you on that?
I think
you answered.
I think with transparency, which is what we're all craving, comes trust.
Yeah.
Okay. There's that theme. We heard
There-
that
there's the
yesterday
theme.
too.
Trust was also
There's the
is
theme.
trust, truth, transparency.
And do you think we
and
don't?
trust.
Are we missing trust?
Yeah.
I think we are. Absolutely.
Can it be fixed? Why would you guys be able to fix that?
Can we
First-
get it back? Can we get it back, Tom?
The thing is, we as council members are going to have to earn the trust of the voters of Amarillo. And it's not going to be easy because we've gone through this transition, especially the last couple of years, when our council abandoned the voters of Amarillo. And we have got to redivine and redevise the way we do government. We need to be totally open. I want to see the debates in front of the people. Let's talk about it and let the people see us, be there, answer the phone when it rings. You know.
Anyone else?
I agree. It will take time. And it will take those conversations. It'll take easy conversations. It'll take hard conversations. But it's going to take communicating and building a bridge and really shining a light on what council's doing to be able to build that trust back up.
It can certainly be got back. It's not going to be easy. It'll be a lot of work, but if you got the right council members up there, it can get done.
Yeah. Good. Okay, so I'm going to start, John.
Yeah.
With you, and really, mostly, I want people to get to know you a little bit. So, just tell us first, just about yourself a little bit, not the political side, but the personal side, to the extent you're comfortable.
Okay. Well, I went to school in Perryton. After I graduated high school, I moved up here, attended AC for a while, had a couple jobs. Then I started working for a billboard company, worked there for 15 years. During working there, about 8 years, I was a professional freestyle motocross rider out of Amarillo. Traveled around, did arena cross, motocross, monster truck shows.
Nice.
Awesome. Very
Did that
good.
for 8
How's your back?
years. It was rough. It was rough. I
Yeah,
was
it's all good. Yeah.
definitely took advantage of my youth. Yes.
Everybody knows Katt. So you were Ginger's assistant, while she was mayor of Amarillo. Did she encourage you to run for this office, and will she be supporting you?
She did not encourage me to run for this office. This was a calling that I had after working for the city. If she supports me, that's her decision. I'm not sure where she's at on that, but it was something that I felt called to. I left her office and then went to the Beautification and Public Arts position. And from there, it wouldn't leave me alone. And I felt like I needed to run for the citizens.
Yeah, Katt, were you inspired by what you saw as it was going on? Is that what
Yes, I
moved
was.
you to do this?
Yes, I was inspired. There's great things happening. I mean, we have staff that work for us hard. Day in and day out, but there are changes that need to be made, and I got a front row seat to that. And I think the steps that it took to get me to run were just the things that I saw working for the city.
Excellent.
So, Katt, you really have no idea whether she's going to support you?
I'm
Surely you got to know.
I hope so. I hope I get a lot of support from a lot of different people, but I was
You
not
haven't
in
asked her.
No, and I wasn't in an advisory role.
That's cool.
I
Yeah.
was a connection to the citizens
Yeah,
on
that's
behalf.
great.
She just
Very
would
fair,
be
yeah.
a big voice. So
It's a big, it's
I
a big
figured-
name to
I
have
figured you'd
behind
say-
you. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Very good.
I think I'm next.
You're next.
Yeah, Tom, this is going to be about leadership, if you don't mind.
Okay.
You've been critical, fair enough, at the existing council. You're proud to admit that. I mean, you're not going to run from that.
been
Yeah.
Very critical.
Tell us about a mistake you made, if you don't mind, as a leader, and how you've dealt with it.
Okay.
Because you led a lot of people.
I did.
That's kind of a tough question.
It is. It is. And I'm going to tell you right off the bat, I made a lot of mistakes.
Fair enough.
I mean, more mistakes than I could tell you about. But to be truthful, when I made a mistake, I owned that mistake. I stood up to the people I made the mistake in front of, and mostly it was the employees who trusted my decision. And I would have to stand up and say, I'm sorry, I made the mistake. I should have listened to you. And then I walked it back, and we would regroup and redo. But the most important thing, I think, whenever you make a mistake, is standing in front of people and owning your mistake. What I see happening, especially this year in our city council, was when Mr. Fairly here brought a suit against the city, and we went to court, went to a hearing, then we went to court, and the judge found the city was guilty. My opinion, if I would have been on the city council, I would have called a news conference after the trial. I would have said, we messed up. I'm sorry. We shouldn't have spent the city's money that way because it affected every taxpayer.
Yeah.
And even now they are appealing this, and I just don't understand it. But the main thing, when you make a mistake, you own your mistake. Because we're human, we're going to make those.
Yeah,
So.
I like that. John, we kind of heard your personal side, you know. Can you take us a little bit into your political side, if you don't mind? Not to make it a fluff question, but, you know, what's your thoughts on running for this? Why? What motivated you?
What motivated me was just seeing a lot of things in the city that need to change. Like we said, you know, I think the city has not done a good job of spending taxpayers' money, and a lot of the taxpayers know that. And we want to be able to trust our council and trust that our money's getting spent where it needs to. And more importantly, we need to make sure that our departments are all operating effectively. We've got a lot of the departments that need work. Sanitation, our police department needs help. So a lot of that's what motivated me to run.
Excellent.
And this is the first time you've run ever?
Yes.
So what made you say, this is my moment? Like, you know, like, was there something that
Well, a few years back, I'm sure you're aware of the Tent City issue. I worked with Tent City, helped them out, had them on my land for a couple years. And I got kind of drug into a lot of it. And I had a lot of people want me to run then, and I didn't. And then when I didn't, I kind of wished I had. So I was like,
Yeah.
just, I mean, and it takes a lot to get up the nerve to do that, because it's not something I took lightly. It was a lot of work, a lot of
Yeah.
getting up the nerve to do it, because
Yeah.
I didn't take it lightly. It's a big job. It's important, and I wanted to make sure that I was ready for it.
Yeah.
When
When we
decided
say
to
that
do
word
it.
courage, we mean it. You know
I was
what
gonna
mean?
say,
I
I
haven't stepped up there yet.
I can relate, because I thoroughly thought about it, and at the end I did it. And so I admire, when you say get up the nerve, that's just a good, honest way to, you know, because there's probably a lot of things that are like, are you crazy? What
All
are you?
three of you, yeah.
The day I went down to file my application, I paced the living room probably an hour and a half, because it's a big decision.
Yeah,
You got to
it
be
is.
committed once you do it, and I
Yeah.
wanted to make sure I was committed and ready.
Yeah, I'm sure you all were. That's good. All right, very good. So as we were getting ready, I'm looking everywhere for anything I can find so we can ask smart questions. Katt, I watched your chat interview, and you referenced things that you said, quote, came down the pipeline in the last 6 months. I assume were you talking about the lawsuit? You said everything is factual that comes from the city itself. And I don't know, I felt like there was more there. Like I would love to hear kind of what you, I couldn't tell if you were kind of defending the city or if you were talking about something else. Speak to that a little bit.
We can all agree on how that was handled was not appropriate. I will tell you that. The information I receive and that I get from the city is factual. That's what we're supposed to run on, is facts. And so that's why we have to build that trust back up, because if we're not getting our facts correct and our information correct and doing things that are appropriate, then that's where it gets a little tousled. So
Gotcha.
we can agree that that wasn't a great move.
Yeah,
So
I got you. Okay. Yeah, that helps me, because
Yeah.
it was one of the things the judge said is that the facts weren't correct. And so
Right.
I thought, is Katt thinking that the judge got it wrong? So
No.
I didn't know. And I wanted you to have the chance
Yeah, for sure.
to say, okay, that's good. That's kind of a hard question. So you did.
Yeah, you did well.
You did great. You did
Yeah,
great
I
with that.
appreciate that, yeah.
Okay, who's up
I
next?
think you are, Alex.
Okay, Tom, you've run before,
Correct?
and I can't remember against who last time, and it doesn't matter. But tell us what brought you back.
Yeah.
Like, obviously you don't give up.
Correct. I'll put it to you fairly simply. The things I ran on 2 years ago have only gotten worse in the last 2 years. So I hadn't planned on running again. But as time came around, I saw that the city has gotten in worse shape than it did 2 years ago. And I felt the need, I want to bring forth plausible change to the city that the citizens can actually use and understand. We need to make a better living environment for everybody within the city. I will say one thing, we got 10 square blocks downtown. They're beautiful. They're beautiful. But then I've got, I don't know how many more square miles that we need to work on. And that's the thing we need to work on is the rest of the citizens, the rest of the people that live here in Amarillo.
Good. Sounds like you've kind of worked on some of that stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't tell us about the beautiful. I found it out watching you, but I don't know exactly what it is.
So there's 2 areas of my life that I've worked, well, 3 if you count my upbringing and being in a landscape service company my entire life. So that's one facet of beautification. And then there's the murals. Murals aren't just beautification, it's trash and everything else. And those were the efforts I was putting forth in that beautification and public art position. Within
Is that a nonprofit that does that,
Well,
or is that the
Hoodoo-
city, related to the city?
There's city beautification efforts, and then there's the mural festival, both of which I was a part of the beautification office, but now I'm just Hoodoo. Hoodoo is a nonprofit, and it started in 2019. But the predecessor to that was the City Mural Grant. And the City Mural Grant is a matching grant. It's $30,000 of funds that businesses can apply for all over the city. The first mural that was put up was the one at 34th in Georgia, or 34th in Western, at the right by the Cliffside Coffee.
Yeah.
So that grant actually started in 2018, and from there it spun. I mean, visible change creates pride. When you can see it, people know you're working on it. So that started, and then came Hoodoo. And my friend said, let's have a mural festival, and I said, I'll help. And since 2018, there's been over 75 murals installed in the city that I've counted. So it comes down to that is visible change. People are seeing things happening in their community, and that creates pride. So,
Yeah, and I'm a fan of the murals. I really like, I don't know about you guys, but
yeah.
I think that's part of what makes Amarillo kind of cool. So.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is for
yeah.
everyone, and this is kind of a soft question. Anyway, is there a most influential person or a most influential event that had a big impact on your decision to run for city council?
And I think it's a great question.
Kind of what
okay? I
led
don't
you
think
to
it's
say,
Yeah.
I just gotta do this. And you've touched a little, but is there anyone or anything or?
I would say when the council went around the voters of Amarillo was the most un-American thing that could happen. And as an American, I had to stand up and draw a line in the sand like they did at the Alamo and say, we can't have that. You represent the people who elected you. You do not represent your views. And that's who we hold accountable. The citizens hold us accountable if we're elected. I'm running to serve. I'm not running to rule. I'm running to serve the people, not rule.
Very good. John?
One thing for me was attending council meetings, and they would give people their 3 minutes, and then they would just, okay, next. And you can clearly see the look on their face. They ain't listening. They're doing their own thing. They don't care about the voter. They don't care about the taxpayer. They're going to do what they want to do, and they're just not listening to the concerns of the citizens.
Katt, I heard you say in one of your interviews that you've been to almost every city. Do you agree with that? You were at a lot of council meetings.
I'm a communicator by nature, and so it does get frustrating whenever you can't have that conversation back or acknowledge, hey, I'm listening, I'm hearing you.
Yeah.
It's frustrating to see that. So
Okay. All right. Anything from you about the question?
I think just in
Did a mural inspire you? Saw one?
oh
I gotta
yes,
Wow.
so inspiring. You know, art is inspiring.
Yeah, it is.
Totally.
It is.
Oh yeah, that wasn't being sarcastic.
I think for me, it was a culmination of things. And then there was a post I saw on social media where people were so mad, and it made me so mad for them that they couldn't get what they wanted. And then that calling, and that's when I asked my husband, what do you think about this? And so it was a culmination, but that one moment of seeing a frustrated fellow citizen that said, I need to do something.
So your husband said, "Better you than me."
He said no.
Okay.
Really? Okay.
He did. And
Fair.
but I think he put me through, a test of, you got to think about it, weigh these options. What are you going to do? Talk to some people that have been influential in your life and see where it goes. And I think over time he saw where my heart was and that I really needed to do it. And now, of course, he's my number one fan. I hope. So,
And you're a busy mother as
Yes,
well.
yes,
yeah.
sir.
So that's
yeah, I'm doing it for my kids too.
yeah. Love that. Love that. Tom, you kind of already answered this question, but this question is going to be: did you guys agree with the city council's decision to pass that $260 million tax note?
I did not.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And I fought against that. I was part of the group that fought that when it came to vote. And I believed on it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying we don't need
Oh yeah.
a new civic center. I think we need one. I just don't like the way they were wanting to pay for it, because we've got to figure out a way to do it that's not put all the burden on the backs of the taxpayers. So I figure we can do something, we can figure it out, get like-minded people in a room, and I think it could be done. But I was against the way they were going about doing it and the way they were going to get the money.
Katt?
I agree.
You answer kind of.
Yeah.
I agree.
You've already, yeah.
I think Tom pretty much read my mind on all of that.
Yeah.
I agree. Whether we rebuild, repair ours, or build a new one, I'm open to either one, just as long as we do it the right way and we don't put an undue burden on the taxpayers.
Yeah. So this one is kind of about experience. Like there's a good diversity of backgrounds here.
Great diversity.
So, yeah, which is really good. So I want to kind of talk about. I want to start with this, and then we'll follow up. Briefly, bullet. Okay, so bullet and briefly. So I'm saying the same thing. Briefly, bullet. I don't know why I'm looking at Tom. Your professional experience, like start in high. You kind of done this already, John, but start in wherever you want, high school or college, and just bullet your professional experience to this point in your career, and then we'll follow up with, we're going to head to how that informs your life your potential lives as a city council person.
I started my working career while I was in college. I went to work for W.C. Roberts Lumber Company. I was a yard man, worked there a number of years. As I came to the end of school, I was made retail manager of the W.C. Roberts Lumber Company. After that, I left and went to work for Austin Distributing back then. And I've been at Austin Distributing for 38 and a half years. Basically, I started out answering the phones and working in the warehouse. Through the years, I worked my way up to a branch manager, vice president of operations. Then I made CEO my last approximately 12 years of my career. So I've spanned a lot of development. I've learned a lot through my business career. I've learned how to deal with people, how to negotiate deals, how to work with others,
Yeah.
and get the things you need done for your company. And the hardest thing we always had to make a profit. And that's one thing where a city they don't think that way, and I'd like to bring some of that thinking to the city.
Okay.
Did you enjoy working in the yard or the CEO?
To be truthful, I enjoyed the yard
that's
a
what I
lot
thought.
better.
Yeah.
That's good. Austin, that's a local. Is that who I think of as Austin Hose?
Yes, it's Austin Hose
It's an
today. I
Amarillo
think It's about 5 years ago, we changed the name from Austin Distributing to Austin Hose. And,
So in your life, 2 jobs.
yeah,
I notice you're still saying we. Have you retired or you're still there?
I'm retired.
Okay.
I retired
it's in-
5.5 years ago
All right.
now.
All right.
And that's how I got in politics. I wanted something to do and wanted to get involved in town. The city's given me a lot of opportunities. And I felt it was time for me to give back to the city what it had given me. So
Gotcha.
that's what.
John, you touched on it, but talk about a little bit your kind of professional experience after your motocross career.
Well, like I said, I work in a billboard company, so I have experience with advertising. And like I said, with dirt bikes, I mean, it wasn't just riding. You got to promote yourself. I helped start up a couple clothing companies, worked with that.
Good. Was it a local billboard company?
Yes.
All right. So I wonder if you'll be able to call them and say, hey, I need you to give me some billboards.
I might.
Okay.
Whatever it takes, whatever it takes.
I wonder who
man.
that is. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Very good. Katt, what's your kind of professional life?
I'd answered phones for my parents starting about 4. So I've been in work, but professionally, after college, I came and worked for my parents for about 4 years. And then I moved to Denver for a brief time. And that's where I got, the market was terrible in Denver in about 2010, 2011. And then I left Denver to move to Dallas and work for a family there. So I ran the ins and outs of a family's life, hosted events for nonprofits, all kinds of things. I've had a servant's heart my entire life. When I ended that position, I was pregnant and kind of did my own thing for a little bit. My husband said, take it easy, I'll work. And then we moved to Amarillo in 2018 when she was 8 months old. And from there, I've started doing my own creative business, but I've always had this want to serve. And when I saw the position open at the city, I said, I can do that. I've done that before. In my last position, I hosted Texas delegates, past presidents, things of that nature. So I knew I could do the job. And I knew I loved my community. So when I got up there, it was a fast track of learning even more about my community and serving my community. And then hopping into the nonprofits that I'm involved in as well. So.
Okay. Very good.
We have this one for you. If the election were held today, if you don't mind, who would you vote for mayor? Katt?
Ooh, I was asked that earlier, and I.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
We didn't know that.
No,
So
I'm
you mean
still.
today like they can't be undecided?
I can't be undecided.
Yeah. You can't be undecided.
Oh, I don't know. I have been focusing so much on my race in my life that I haven't dug deep enough to decide. But I will be voting.
Okay.
But
You're not leaning either way.
I really am not at this point. I know
It's a-
obviously two candidates that are running. I've had experience with working with them, but I feel they both bring different things to the table. But I haven't made a decision yet, to be
You're
honest.
sounding like a politician.
I am,
Yeah.
but it's true. I like to give everyone an equal opportunity. I know that sounds silly, but I've seen them both work in different ways, and the two that you're probably leaning to. But I also know that we have a slew of new candidates that are just getting to introduce themselves to us. So I think that that's an interesting concept, that we have people that want to work for the city in a capacity. So.
Katt, I'm just curious, will you just delve into it at 1 week or look into the candidates?
I-
thing like
really-
that?
I think in these forums it's going to be helpful.
Yeah.
Well, really, I think the two people that people feel are at least the most well known, you know them pretty well. Like you worked with them.
I do, and
But you don't have a leaning?
No, because they both have their different strengths and they both have their different thoughts. I know that one was it's,
All right, we're not going to get
Oh,
it
no,
out.
I don't
Let's
wanna-
move on.
She
you're
said
not
she's
gonna-
not,
Yeah,
she's
she's not
undecided.
I don't
Okay.
because
Give her a break.
I admire and I appreciate both of them
Yeah.
because they've been through it. So I do know that.
We
Yeah.
appreciate the insight
Yeah,
So-
and,
that's
the-
good.
and the honesty there.
Yeah,
Very, John?
they made it hard.
I'm still kind of getting to know some of them, but the two you're referring to,
Why are we keeping them such a secret?
Well, I was
I
going to
know.
say, I didn't,
If you want to say their names,
We
you're
could say
fine. Yeah.
I was referring to Frida and Cole, but You won't get to know Frida better in the thing. She didn't come. But
Oh, she
Yeah.
didn't.
but
No, she
anyway,
decided
any
not to.
leaning you have? Yesterday we asked a group of 5, and
And
then
it went bam, 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 bam. Okay? Took like 6 seconds, okay?
Wow.
Yeah.
I would say Cole. I think he's done a very good job with the time he's been in there, and yeah.
Gotcha.
What about Tom?
I'm definitely Cole. I've made up my mind a long time ago.
Yeah.
I've seen the interview for the last 2 years. They've sit there every Tuesday. I watch if I'm not at a meeting, I've got it on my phone or I'm watching it on the television, wherever I'm at. I feel like they've had an interview process. I know who's doing what, and I can tell by the questions that Cole asked at the city council that he's done his homework, and I feel like I call Frida make a motion Frida, and that's the way I feel. And I have a problem when it comes to city government, and they come out with a 2-page ordinance, and they make this motion, they read this thing, and I'm going, whoa. Is this decided already in the back hall? I mean, those are questions I think the citizens asked me.
Yeah.
And I said, I would like to have that debate in front of the citizens. And they're going to know what we're talking about. So definitely Cole Stanley. I think he's the man for the job. He's kept a very even keel while he was there. He probably did a lot better than I would have done in a few circumstances. So he's very measured.
Does hold his water well, doesn't
So if
he?
you
Yeah.
watch them already or see them, I guess I haven't watched ever one. So I guess it's no extra time for you. You're doing it already.
Well, I'll put it to you this way. The time, I'm very interested in the city. And if I don't watch it, I watch every meeting. It may not be the day of. I try to catch them as they're doing. And if it's not the day of, I'll watch
Yeah,
it
some
that
of those
night.
last long,
Yeah,
too.
oh,
My
Some of them
gosh,
are brutal. Kat, you
ridiculous.
watched them all
Yeah,
too. I
Kat,
guess you were on
know.
the job, but
Yeah.
5-6 hours sometimes, man.
and really, in my opinion, after you've been there 5 hours,
Yeah.
you're just trying to get through the process.
Yeah.
And
You're
to
mentally
me,
gone.
not effective.
to me, we need to shorten it up a little bit and be more precise in what we're doing.
John,
Yeah.
you seem the type of guy who's really looking forward to some 6-hour meetings.
Oh yeah.
He can't wait.
That's your cup of tea.
That's
yeah.
amazing. That's not the thing that motivates you to run for city council, is these long meetings.
No, but
I'm teasing.
it's part of the job.
Yeah.
No, if you can ride a motocross track, you have focus. There's no doubt about that. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
well, hey, this has been really, really wonderful to listen to you guys' views and all that. But we would like to give you the opportunity to, in a minute or so, to if anything we haven't asked you, or if you would like to expound on something that the citizens of Amarillo might want to hear. So, Tom, if it's okay, start with you.
The main thing I want to relay to the citizens of Amarillo, I'm asking to serve you as your representative to the city council. I am here for you, not for myself. I can promise you that. Another thing, I want to bring my work experience to the city. I want to be able to go to the city and observe every department, see how it's run, what it does, how it does it, and then ask the employees, what do you think? I mean, I learn more from a guy sweeping the floor sometime than I learned from the manager, because the guy sweeping the floor knew what was going on. And I would like to bring that kind of learning or teaching to the city. I would also like to sit down and put everything on the table, deal the cards on the table, and teach every department what it is, what we do, and how we do it. Then I'd like to bring customer service back to the city, because right now, from what I understand, our customer service is not the best. And it's not the employee's fault. I think everything comes from the top down. And if the top is not positive, the bottom's not going to be positive. But I would love to see us become a very positive ran city that responds to the need of the citizens. And we had a good example of that this week. It came out that there was some stuff in the library that was posted, and City Hall was called. It was taken down. So the citizens do make a change. We've just got to engage. Thank you.
Very good.
I'm asking
ahead,
the
yeah.
voters to vote for me. I agree there's a lot of changes that need to be made. We've got a lot of departments that need work, and I look forward to working with them and getting that done. And just like he said, certainly customer service needs to be brought back to the city. And I look forward to working on that. And I just look forward to a chance to represent the taxpayers, the citizens, and their interest, and make sure that they're reassured that people are listening to them and doing what they want ultimately at the end of the day.
Very well.
Very good.
Katt, go right ahead.
Well, I am a young mother and I'm a taxpayer, and I have worked within the city of Amarillo, and I've seen firsthand the things that should change and processes that need to be improved upon. Customer service is number one in my book, and also the transparency. But I want to continue to make this place a place where my kids want to come home to, like I did with my babies. I brought them home from Dallas to raise them, and have submerged myself into the community at 100 miles an hour between the different things I'm involved in. I want to talk with citizens, not over them, not under them, but with them. That's very important. They want to be heard, and we can gain a lot of information from our citizens in stakeholder meetings. And we have to be good stewards of the taxpayer's dollar. We have to ensure that we're doing right by them, and that's what I want to do. These are things that I've seen, and these are things that I want to improve upon. But I also think Amarillo is a good place to raise a family, and we just need to keep that up.
Good.
It's really good.
We raised a long family here, Lance. I agree.
Yeah.
5 kids.
Yeah.
It's a great place to raise.
It is a great place. It really is. So.
All right. Good job.
Yeah, really good job. We can't thank you enough for taking the time out of your busy schedule to be with us. We really do enjoy it. These are your place 3 candidates, but like I've said in each one of our interviews, vote.
Yeah.
Go vote is the most important thing.
Yeah.
Don't be apathy like we have been in the past in Amarillo. Let's change that part of Amarillo as well. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good job.
you.
Really good job, guys.
Thank you.
Let's get out of here. Thanks, Alex.